Hi, grade 10s. I'm going to be introducing the climate change evaluation for this unit, and that would be called a research informed and negotiated action project. So I'm not going to go through all the steps because I did this video once and it was 17 minutes long, so I'm going to try to make it a little shorter this time. The purpose of this project is to help you feel a little bit empowered about what you can do to help mitigate some of the effects of climate change. So the learning goals here are listed. Some of them are from the unit because some of them we have to kind of explore in order to explain what the issue is. And then some of them are a little bit extra. For example, we're going to be comparing different perspectives and or biases that come up in discussions of climate change. And we're going to investigate and actually conduct, or I guess investigate the relationship between two or more variables that have to do with climate change. So we know climate change is a very important issue, and we're going to keep facing it in the future and as we are now, and it might even get worse in the future. So in this project, the goal is to help you come up with some initiatives that you can personally do in order to help mitigate those effects. So the way the RiNA project works is you start with figuring out an issue that you want to tackle. You don't want to be so broad, like just saying climate change, because that is just too big. There's way too many things within that umbrella that you can cover. But you might not also want to be super specific at this point because you want to gather enough information to find out what truly interests you. Some things to keep in mind when choosing your issue, thinking about, are you passionate about it? Is it relevant? Could it be controversial? Do you care enough to act on the issue? Is it something you can work on locally? And is it related to the course? Because we definitely want to relate it to the course because that's what we are evaluating. Once you've determined your topic, you'll get into some secondary research. So secondary research includes looking through the internet, looking through journals, looking at media to figure out some of the who, what, where, when, why, and how of the issue. You might then you might divide this up between your group members so that you can tackle this from a whole bunch of different angles and perspectives. Then after you've gathered enough research, you will create a network map that shows where all the influence lies, where all the power lies, where you lie in relation to this issue. And hopefully that will help you to determine any gaps that you're not sure of, you can't find information about, or something that you're interested in pursuing further. And that's going to help you to create a primary research survey. So a survey is going to consist of 5 to 10 questions. We're actually going to give out the survey to various classes and your teacher will arrange that. And then you're going to get your results and interpret the data. When you interpret the data, you'll hopefully have some kind of relationship between a cause and an effect, just like we mentioned earlier. And then this can help you to inform the action that you're going to take. You are going to come up with at least 2 initiatives, and you're going to analyze these initiatives for their strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, or SWOT analysis. And then you are going to determine which might be the best way to tackle the issue that you chose at the beginning of the project. Some things you might consider would be raising awareness, developing better interventions, improving your personal actions, providing opportunities or education. You can lobby or boycott offenders and power brokers, many different options, and there's way more listed at the bottom of this doc. So this is the task sheet. It's going to go into a lot of detail about each step. Each step is going to be put into Brightspace for a completion date. So for example, we are going to start with the introduction today, and then you're going to complete steps 1 and 2. Steps 1 being choosing your issue, and step 2 being brainstorming what you already know about the issue. And if you finish that today, you can even get started on step 3, which is the secondary research. The group template, it can be accessed here or through Brightspace. So when you click on this, you'll see a lot of the same information, a lot of the same steps, but there's obviously tables and questions for you to consider to help you answer or complete the step. Please make 1 copy of this group document and share it with your group members, and everyone's just going to be contributing to it. As I mentioned, the steps, very detailed, very outlined. You can go through it on your own. So today we're going to go through steps 1 and 2, so I can quickly go over that. Step 1, You will work with your team to identify an issue related to climate change based on your common interest. And you should keep in mind as many points listed above. For example, is it relevant? Is it controversial? Are you passionate? Etc. And you put that into the group template. For step 2, expressing your ideas, you're going to, before beginning any further research, you're going to write down what you already know about this topic. And that could help focus your research a little bit so you're not going all over the place. And again, that goes into your group template. For the research, let's move down. Step 3 is where you actually do the research from the internet or books. I don't know if anyone still does that, but you will at least look up 2 sources per person. And each person not only should summarize what they found in the research, but they should also assess or analyze their source for credibility. And to do that, you do something called a CRAP test, which looks at currency, relevancy, authority, accuracy, and the purpose. So if you're not sure how to do a CRAP test, you can click on this video and it will explain it to you. And it's also written in the group template. And then each of the sources has to be cited in APA formation. So these are, again, some ideas to help get you focused on your research so you're not just researching literally everything. So step 3 will be started today, maybe, and then definitely the next class that we have together. Once you have some of your research, you'll get into making that network map that I was describing, and then some of these other steps, which we'll save for the day that we're working on those things. The last thing I want to talk about, I guess, or second last thing, what you're submitting from this project is the group template. This is going to be submitted to Brightspace. You're going to submit your Google Form survey, which is the primary research that you're doing in step 4. And to do that, you just add your teacher as a collaborator so that your teacher can see the results and the questions. And then you're also going to do a self-reflection at the end of this project in class where you reflect on your learning in this project. Okay, now the last thing. The last thing I want to talk about is the rubric. Very important to use the rubric because it helps to improve our learning and we know exactly what we're looking for when we're working on a project. So for knowledge and understanding, you're getting marked on secondary research. Did you demonstrate knowledge of climate change? Have you demonstrated knowledge of how the issue contributes to climate change? Have you addressed consequences on the individual, society, and environment? Have you identified multiple stakeholders and various factors and connections in the network map? Did you explain the issue clearly with the 5 W's and how? And do you have a minimum of 2 sources per person in APA format? For thinking, you're getting marked on your survey. So your survey should be a correlational study in which you ask a question and you try to answer in order to see the relationship between 2 variables. So your questions have to be meaningful and really get to the heart of what you're trying to answer. Application, this is where you're getting marked on your social or your action plans, basically your 2 initiatives. Have you justified why it's effective? Have you proven that you have considered and thought of details for this plan and also the SWOT analysis? And then finally, communication will be the self-reflection form that you'll complete at the end of the project. So that's it for the task sheet. Please do look it over in a little bit more detail. Maybe as you're going through each step, you want to look at it every day. But if you forget about this task sheet, a lot of the information is also found in the group template. So you can use the group template to kind of guide your thinking, and your teacher will go through each step per day. So again, we're starting step 1 and 2 today, maybe step 3. On our next class or in our next class, we will do step 3. And then every day of the project work period, you'll be assigned a new step to try to aim for so that you can finish in an appropriate timeline. Okay, so your groups are posted on Brightspace. That's who you'll be working with for this project. Make sure you sit with them so you're nice and close. You don't have to yell across the classroom. And I hope you have fun choosing your topics.